as as a written examination for 17 lakh candidates could not have been conducted in one shift. Full stop. As soon as it was decided that the examination was to be conducted in different shifts, it was realized that to maintain a parity, the normalization oblique scaling method would be required to be adopted. Stop. Therefore, at the set stage itself, wide notification dated. Yes, where is that?
Page 33.
Page 33.
Annex 3.
Right. Circular dated 5/6/24 bracket में next 3. It was notified that the examination would be conducted in different shifts and further the normalization method would be adopted for the recruitment in question. Full stop. The said amended circular was notified to be a part of the original advertisement. Next. So far as the scaling formula, next इसके पहले लिखिएगा. So far as the ground of non-declaration of raw marks of the candidates is concerned, after the said ground being raised before this court on the first date of hearing, admittedly, the raw marks of the unsuccessful candidates have been declared by the department. Full stop. This
Board. Staff selection board.
By the staff selection board. Full stop. The said issue, therefore, now is not required to be gone into. Next. So far as the scaling formula as adopted by the State Department is concerned, it has been submitted that the same was recommended by an expert committee which was appointed for the said purpose. First off, the committee, after a thorough consideration of the question papers of all the 6 shifts, after a thorough research of thorough consideration of the question papers of all the shifts, computed the difficulty level, and then as per the difficulty level of the set papers of the question papers in all the 6 shifts, recommended a specific formula to maintain the parity between the candidates appearing in all the shifts and attempting different question papers. First off, Learned AAG submitted that there is no ground that it is not the case of the petitioners that the department acted malafidely or any corrupt practices had been adopted while applying the scaling formula. Full stop. Council further submitted that the fact that a normalization process would be adopted was very well intimated to the candidates at the first stage itself, and now when the candidates participated in the said process without raising any objection to the same at that stage, cannot now, after the result being declared, lay a challenge to the same. Full stop. A further ground has been raised that the courts would not sit in appeal over the recommendations oblique opinion of an expert committee. Full stop. If the report oblique recommendation of the committee is not found to be bona fide, comma, the courts cannot interfere. Courts should not generally interfere with the same. Next. In support of submissions, counsel relied upon the judgments and political state versus Atul Kumar Trivedi, Devika Panchara and Gaurav Sharma. Yes, Mr. Joshi, आपका एक judgment था ना? You had cited one.
Yes, not meeting. Gaurav Sharma.
गौरव शर्मा, देविका पंजारा एंड अतुल कुमार द्विवेदी और एक दीपेंद्र यादव, चारों को लिख दीजिए. यस, आपका एक था ना कोई? अतुल द्विवेदी के पहले का ही था या अतुल द्विवेदी था?
अतुल द्विवेदी के पहले का. संजय सिंह.
यस, संजय सिंह वर्सेस यूपीएससी, उनके उसमें लिख दीजिएगा. नेक्स्ट. अदर काउंसिल्स प्रोड्यूस द रिकॉर्ड. नेक्स्ट. This court is not inclined to interfere in the present petition for the following reasons. First,
and this argument is also recorded. A copy of the expert committee report was not placed on record, nor copy was given to us.
Mr. को हम लिखा देंगे, लिखिए इसमें. At the council इसके पहले लिख लीजिएगा एक.
ये हमने प्रोड्यूस तो करा नहीं थे.
After hearing all the counsels at length on tapis 725, the court directed London AAG to keep the expert committee report for perusal of this court on the next day, that is today. Full stop. The same has been furnished to the court for perusal today. Full stop. Next. The court, साथ ही लिखिए, court thoroughly examined the said report and even sought the assistance of the expert who was present before the court to explain the same. Next. Counsel for the petitioners raised an objection that the copy of the said expert committee has not been supplied to him. Next. The said objection. Next. In the opinion of this court, the same is not required to be done. Full stop. The report had been called by the court to examine and to satisfy itself regarding the scaling formula as adopted, as recommended by the committee and as adopted by the board. Stop. The petitioners, if desired to have to obtain a copy of the said report, it is very well open for them to proceed in accordance with law. Next. Had the counsels period ये पहले लिखवाना है, फिर उसके बाद had the counsels period the record. Next. This court is not inclined to interfere in the present petition for the following reasons. First, admittedly, the fact that the written examination for the recruitment in question was to be conducted in different shifts, and the adoption of the normalization process was notified, amended circular dated 5/6/24 bracket में next 3 full stop. Meaning thereby all the incumbents who were inclined to participate in the process were aware of the same at that point of time. Stop. None assailed the set condition oblique procedure at that point of time. Stop. Meaning thereby none of the candidate was agreed of the said process to be adopted by the respondent department. First off, as is the settled position of law, any candidate who participates in a recruitment process cannot, at a subsequent stage, challenge any condition of the advertisement after having declared unsuccessful और so and so उसको यहाँ पे judgment add हो जाएगा. Next, second, admittedly, it is not in dispute that more than 17 lakh candidates applied for the posts in question, and it is humanly impossible to conduct an examination for that number of students on one particular day or in one shift. Full stop. Therefore, the decision of the department to conduct the examination in different shifts was the most natural consequence. Full stop. The issue now is when any examination for a recruitment is conducted in different shifts, what can be the attempt to maintain a parity between the candidates who appear in different shifts and attempt different question papers. First up, it is the most natural consequence of the examination being conducted in different shifts that the question papers can be easy in some shift and tough in some other shift. First off, in those circumstances, a parity definitely has to be maintained between different set of candidates appearing in different shifts. First off, as is the settled position of law, the best method to maintain the parity is adoption of some normalization / scaling / rationalization process. Full stop. This is what has been done in the present matter. Full stop. Present matter, and rightly so. Full stop. Next, coming on to the issue whether the scaling formula as adopted by the respondents is correct or whether some other formula ought to have been adopted, the court is of the clear view that the same is not within the domain of the courts to decide as to which formula would have been better or which formula ought to have been adopted by the respondent department. First off, as held by the Honorable Apex Court in so and so, it is the jurisdiction of the experts to decide on the said issues. First off, the same having been done by an expert committee in the present matter, it does not require any interference by this court. First off, furthermore, this court has thoroughly gone through the expert committee report and finds it totally justified, wherein a complete consideration of the difficulty standard of the question papers in all shifts has been taken care of. First off, next, in view of case for interference is made out, petition is dismissed.
Petition number 40 also not.
पहले लिखिएगा, सबसे शुरुआत में लिखिएगा. At the very inception, counsel for the petitioner seeks permission to withdraw the present petition for petitioner number 4 in view of the submission made, dismissed as withdrawn for petitioner number 4.